Squid Game. So I wanted to make a video on it for a very long time. When it first came out, I was like, I'm gonna do it. But thank God I didn't, because the video would have been very rushed. The show is over 8 hours long. It's hella difficult to do a video like mine on it. Here I am doing it. So I really like the show, and most people did it as well. That's why it's so successful. But it really had like goofy characters and goofy moments that we're gonna talk about. I watched it dubbed, and that is the reason why Netflix is getting so much hate for it.
If you cross the head of the squid, then you can walk on 2 feet. We call this the secret inspector.
Like, for having a bad dubbed version and setting as a default, so we're gonna do it as well. First of all, I have beef with the name, Squid Game. Why it's a single version? It should be Squid Games. It sounds way better, or I am just stupid. Episode 1. So the show starts from explaining the Squid Game.
Then they are given the freedom to use both feet.
And it feels like a moment where, like in action movies, they show a gun in the first like scene, and you know it's getting used in like the last scene. So we're introduced to the character who is a player 456, so you know I'm gonna call him sometimes that, and he lives with his mom, and they're both very struggling. Mom basically has to give him money and force him to buy a gift for his daughter, while he has to like work so much to pay off his gambling addiction. So he steals a bank card from his mom to go gamble some more. That really shows how evil of a person he is, but I also really like that. Usually in Korean cinema, they have either a character that is like heroic, wouldn't do anything bad, always thinks about the others, or the opposite, a psychopath that just kills everyone for no reason. But this character takes time to fall in love, because at the end he is a good guy. Because admit it, if like the camera would follow you 24/7 and would be edited as like you would see all the bad moments you have done, you would be an evil person. So for the first time in a while, he wins 4.5 million yen, which is a lot of money, but when you turn it into dollars, it's 3,500, which is still a good amount. And he instantly uses the money poorly. He tips a woman where it's not needed, and he calls up his daughter to say like, we're gonna eat at like the most expensive restaurant.
You can get something really expensive tonight, huh? Don't worry about the price.
When she just wants like fried chicken, which is cheap. But he loses everything to a loan shark. Bro, I know you have that crazy Joker vibe, but come on. But no, he drops the envelope when he's getting chased by a loan shark, so he has no money. So he tortures him in such a painful way. At least he takes back the money from the girl that he tipped, and he still gambles the rest of the money. Bro, he is so hopeless. But no worries, he wins a gun for his daughter.
You know why, huh? These days, even women go to war.
Bro, what? Just stop talking, my dude. First of all, why was there a gun in a kid's claw machine? So the first sign of this game appears when this person comes up to him. And hey, it's the guy from the Train to Busan. Holy shit, love this guy.
Can I talk to you?
But the dubbed version of him sounds so horrible. So he has to play Dachi, which is like has to throw this square thing and flip the others. And if he loses, he gets slapped. And boy, slapped he does. Eventually he wins and he gets some money and a card which has a phone number to join like the bigger game. So he joins the game, and after being gassed, he wakes up in this big room with all the other people. And let's introduce the other. There is the big dark boss that does his boss thing. We have number 1, the old guy that literally looks like he gonna die before the game even begins. Then we have 101, which is like the evil guy that will like be an asshole to everybody and we will hate him. There is 67, which we met before. She was the girl that he bumped in and lost his envelope. They fight a bit and I am concerned about the other people's moral compass. Why are you not helping? You're watching a big ass grown ass mafia boss looking just destroy this girl, but no worries, our hero jumps in to save the day. I didn't expect it from him. He looks like he's gonna be like very selfish and he will only do things for himself, but look at him like saving a girl, putting himself at risk.
You're the damn pickpocket. Give me what you took. My money. Give it back. Where is it?
Oh yeah, that seems more likely. Also, there is a 218, which we saw in a picture before. He is the main guy's childhood friend that went to a great uni and just moved abroad and got a great job, but yet he is still here. So the first game is green light, red light, which is basically when the doll shouts out green light, you can move, red light, you have to stop. If not, you get
eliminated.
Dumbass got caught.
That bang.
Fuck, that was such a good moment. Like, all of these people thought they were just like playing a childhood game, and if they lose, they just like walk away. If they like, basically there's no consequences. But when they see the first death, everyone starts panicking, running, and they all just get shot. What a first grade game.
I think that doll senses when you move around. You won't get caught if you're behind somebody else.
Do you really want to test that theory? I would think it would have like surround cameras, but I guess not. But in the end, 255 people die. I really like the structure of the show. Like, the game starts from the beginning of the episode and it ends when the episode ends. Compared to the show like Alice in Borderland, which has like a similar premise of playing games, it's reverse. The episode starts from the middle of the game and it ends when the other game starts. This show knows it's really good and doesn't need that cliffhanger. Episode 2 starts with this woman crying. She's 212 and she's the worst character out of all of them. So if the majority decides to leave this game, they can all just go home. The woman was crying about like her not naming her newborn child and she wants to like leave and go home. But when it comes to voting to leave the game, she votes to stay and play in the game.
What if we leave? Tell me, what changes?
Now you see why she's the worst character. So it comes down to 100 to 100 vote. And I am surprised how close it is. You're basically saying you wanna die. The percentage that you're gonna win this money is lower than 0.5. Oh wait, I forgot, you're all about that gambling. The old person decides to leave. So the game ends, roll the credits, that's it. But no, if the majority decides to come back to the game starts again. So when they come back to their horrible lives, the highlights are this Pakistani guy who saved the main guy in the last game, and who will be a big part in the show. There was an accident in his job after, like, the boss fingers got crushed because they were in an argument for not giving his salary. 218 literally like put his mother's home and shop as a collateral damage, and he lost it all. The main guy's mother is in hospital and need money for surgery as quick as possible. He goes to the police to like tell all the story, and the police look at him like a crazy man.
You went to play kids games because someone told you you'd get all that cash. So then they had you play some red light, green light, and they shot everyone who got caught. But when you said you wanted to go, they said, okay, just go.
Which I understand. The story is pretty crazy, especially the part where they just let him go. But I would think there would be many stories saying all of that. But the detective guy sees a note that the main guy left, and it's the same note that his brother got before getting disappeared. And the 101 guy thinks of a strategy of attacking the people and getting them all of the money. Bro, you saw how many people they have and how many guns and how rich they have to like afford designing and having huge warehouses. But then his like teammate like literally just stabs him in the back, so he has to kill him, and he barely escapes alive. And so most of the people decide to come back to the game, and were they followed by the detective guy. I didn't talk a lot about this episode, but it was really good. It mostly focused on developing the characters, and oh my god, it was so great. I truly cared about each and every single one. I wouldn't expect Korean cinema to resonate that much with me, because of like the cultural difference, but it really perfectly chose simple, understandable stories that I can put myself into their shoes. Episode 3. We pick up from the detective when he follows to the boat station, climbs under the car. I don't know, how is that real? I googled it, I didn't find any answers. How can you survive that, and if it's doable? When the car reaches the boat, he gets out and he sneaks into the car where all the unconscious players are. But oh no, guards are checking each and every character. No worries, he survives, he makes out alive. He steals the outfit and throws the guy overboard. And I feel sad because nobody noticed him for such a long time, and he just kind of like starts living among them. And I love that idea. The detective guy now will show the inside of this operation, and it's very interesting to see how like every character is human. So they're getting ready, the players, and the girl is the only one to wake up, but she consciously puts a knife in the guard's pocket and later retreats it in her own clothes. I don't know how she does that without like alerting anybody, but she do that. Most of the people come back to play this game.
Out of 201, 187 returned.
Only 24 didn't, and that number seems so low. Like, you literally saw so many people die. The chance that you will survive this is basically zero. But for us entertaining minds, it's very good. After eating and forming groups, it's in the middle of the night now, and the worst character strikes again. She starts yelling in the middle of the night to go to the toilet, and even asks the guards to talk with his manager.
I don't need you. Get me your superior.
Bro, the fuck do you think you are? You saw people die. They can easily shoot you without any consequences. Shut the fuck up and go piss in the corner. But they finally get her out, and she brought contraband inside of her. And whoa, okay, that's pretty smart. She could have brought a knife or like a small cell phone, like, or a tracker. Holy shit. No, she brought cigarettes. Wow. But thank God another girl came with her, and she was a bit smarter. She had a plan. She went to the vents to like check up what's going on, and she asks the other woman to like distract or like waste time, and she starts yelling,
I'm dying!
how's that gonna help him? It's gonna annoy him, and he gonna like get you out faster. So she's in the vents, and she sees the other guards are cooking something. Wow, you did such a great job finding out what they are doing. And sadly, she never does that again. She's like, okay, they're cooking for the rest of the show. I am fine with that.
Second I'm out of here, I'll sue your ass, okay? Is that clear?
Bro, the fuck do you think you are? I kinda start thinking that this place is too good for them. Like, holy shit. They think they're in some sort of like summer camp. But one guy finds a note in his bread. how y'all get this note in the bread? The bread was even packaged in plastic bag. But the note said the answer to the next game, which is like literally 5 minutes before the game starts. But lucky for them, first you have to pick up the shape, then the game gets revealed. And the game is basically, you get this cookie and you have to get the middle shape out of it without like destroying the shape. And so knowing which shape to choose can really impact, you know, the triangle making it the easiest thing and the umbrella basically making it impossible. The main guy's friend finds out the game from the girl saying the cooking hint, but he doesn't tell that anybody, even his friend, and they decide to like split up, each choosing their own shape, and the main guy chooses the umbrella, which is basically a death sentence. And the crazy girl has a star and she uses a lighter to make it 10 times more easier. I don't know how is she not shot on the spot for using it, but I guess nobody cares. She's like behind a little cozy thing, but they have like guards seeing every single cookie if it's fine. The main guy uses his big brain and starts licking the cookie in a way that should feel illegal, but he wins. So the person that got the news about the next game is kind of working with the bad guys by getting the organs from dead bodies, and in return he gets an answer to the next game. And this time the answer is in the egg. How do you put the note inside the egg? So breakfast time, and every person gets 1 egg each, which, come on, you have like rooms made of gold and you can't afford 2 eggs. But the douchebag group goes for round 2, and that leaves 5 people without any food. One guy angrily approaches the guy who stole his food, and the guy just kicks him and he dies. That means that killing is allowed. So the next night is going to be a fun one, but not for me because they have like this strobing light effect, which is so fucking annoying. The scene is unwatchable. I hate it's so painful for my eyes. I can't tell what's happening, and they do it in the worst way possible. Instead of having in camera like the strobing lights, no, they just in editing like turn on and off the brightness. But finally the old man starts yelling to stop the game. Bro, nobody's gonna... Oh, they listened. What the fuck? So for the next game, they have to split it in groups of 10. And the main group has a very weak team. And they're playing tug of war, which is not good because their opposite group has like only strong men. But they're the main cast, so you know they're gonna survive. Episode 5. They do a tactic where basically just run towards them. And then the enemy team loses their footing, and then they can like pull the rope and they win. Ooh wee, wow. But now the worst lady kind of fucking annoys our main cast group.
Hey you got a visa? I bet you don't. You're an illegal alien.
Holy shit, can she just die already? Or like go back to fucking the evil guy? So we get more story into the organ seller guy. They have like a crazy plan. They like choose people that are like have the best organs with like that were not dead yet. And instead of burying them, they have this hole where they get dragged. And like when the guys come, all the footage gets deleted. What the fuck is that button do? Just like delete? Delete what? Not just delete. So one of the guys is actually the detective guy. He's been chilling, working along, but all goes to shit when the 2 guys go to drop off the organs. He recognizes that it's not his friend, actually it's the detective behind the mask. So the detective just shoots the guy after talking way too much. And like the doctor starts panicking because they won't tell what's the next game because nobody knows. So he basically runs off and the guard follows him and makes sure to calm him down. But then the entire group shows up. How did you not see it? A minute ago you were looking at their direction. Where did they come from? But everyone dies and they're made an example of for breaking the rules. And the detective guy goes to see the records to look up his brother. He finds that it had been going on at least since 1999, and the brother won one of the games. Episode 6. This episode was absolutely legendary. Every progression and like anything afterwards this episode was for this episode. Holy shit. For the game, you have to make groups of 2. In the groups, we have these 2, the old man and the main guy, the 2 girls. These are the main pairs, but the annoying woman gets no pair, and everyone thinks she's going to die, but no, she just survives. She instantly qualifies. But like, I don't know how nobody predicted it's competing against one another, not together, and only one of them can survive. Because everybody chose their best friend. Look, there is a guy with his wife and one of them only can survive. But the game is marbles, which each player gets 10 marbles. And the goal is to get the other 10 from another guy without using any force. There isn't a specific game to play. You can decide whatever to play. But the usual game they play is like, guess is it odd or even number you're holding marbles. And if you guess it, you get the marbles. So each pair goes through a arc of their development. The girls decide to talk for most of the time, just at the end play. So they talk about all their life struggles. The Pakistani man is sad and confused that one of them has to die just after he was like dreaming about both of them surviving and splitting the money and living happily ever after. The old man is confused, running around a fake city while the main guy is trying to like calm him down and start playing. So the girl pair is talking for the most of the time, and they decide to play one game at the end. One round, the winner survives, the loser dies, and basically the other girl just forfeits the game because she has nothing to live for. The 218 guy, the main guy's friend, tricks the Pakistani man by using his gullibility and trust, thinking they will like compete with other groups and they both can survive, while instead he just grabs the marbles and leaves while he's left to die. And the absolute emotional destroying moment is between the main guy and the old person. They had such a great bond with each other. It felt like it was his grandfather. And the old man calls him a gambu, which means a friend that you can trust with your life.
You and I are gambu now.
But when the main guy notices that he's about to lose, he uses opportunity to cheat when the old man can't remember what he said, and he uses, because of course it's a life or death situation.
Can you repeat what you said just now?
And I wish I could show you the scene it's in entirely, because it was the scene that made me pour out rivers from my eyes. But it comes down to the last marble, and the old man suggests to like playing one round, winner takes all, and the main guy just flips out saying like, it's unfair, you have one marble, I have 19, and he looks dead in his eyes and says, so what you were doing to me, that was fair? We were gambu, we were friends.
That's tricking your friend like that.
Holy shit, after that moment I lost my marbles, and he just gives the last marble. There was a love conversation, but I couldn't hear anymore. That moment just crushed me as a human being. Episode 7. After the game, everyone is quiet because they lost the person they were the closest. Now understand that there is like truly consequences and only one can survive, and the one will have to see everyone die. But the guy who lost his wife starts yelling to leave this game. Bro, how did you not know only one could survive. Definitely someone will die. I'm sorry, yo. But he kills himself. So there's only 16 remaining. But then the VIPs arrive. They were hinted throughout the show as like this rich billionaires that this game is made for.
I just have to say that I'm a difficult man to please.
But holy shit, they suck absolute ass. And I don't know if it's just their like asshole behavior and like betting and joking about human lives.
You two-bit so much on number 69.
Or it's just horrible acting. But the police guy, thank God, makes it more interesting. When the game is playing, he goes to the toilet with the one of the VIPs to have some fun, but instead he pulls out a gun on him to explain all the rules and he films it. Then later he runs off with the information while being chased, riding into the sunset, never to be seen again. For the next game, they have to choose a number from 1 to 16. They don't know what will happen when they choose, but it corresponds with the sequence that they will have to play the game. So 1 will start the game and 16 will end. And it's a game of bridge, which you have to step on this glass, and it's a 50-50%. Will it break or will it not? So choosing number 1 is basically death, because you can't alone do this entire game. But it comes down to like picking 1 or the last, but then the guy jumps in and is like, please, I was always the last person, let me choose first for the first time. So the main guy is left with being number 16. So the game goes per usual, a lot of panicking, yelling, pushing, just basic chaos, but there is not a lot of time, so every second counts. But it all stops when the main guy just becomes a pussy and is like, hey, everybody has to go first, I won't go. The crazy bitch shows up and basically for the first time does better for our viewers and just basically sacrifices with the guy. So the 3 characters survive, and when the time runs out, everything explodes and there's glass just shooting out into the characters, which feels unfair. Like the game is already ended and the girl gets stabbed and she's like basically for the rest of the show basically dead. Why are you punishing her? Episode 8. Cop reaches the mountains to get the signal to send out the information that he got. Why would there be cell towers in the middle of nowhere? But he goes to the cliff where he gets followed by the leader, and the leader takes off his mask and it's his brother. Oh my god, what a surprise. What? I did not expect that happening. Leader just shoots him in the shoulder. He falls down a cliff. Probably gonna be back in season 2. So the survivors dress for a fancy meal, which, ooh, that would feel so good. Not for her though, because she was bleeding a lot before this. It's not going to go so well because they're left with a knife. That means someone will have to kill someone. The tensions are high and the main guy decides to like group up with the girl to basically survive. Did you forget only one could survive? And he's like dreaming of like both of them splitting the money. But when she like passes out and he goes to like get some help, the other guy just teleports her, kills her, and that's it, you know. So there was only 1 against 1 left. Episode 9. Last episode, last game, last people. It's Squid Game, the game in the intro. You kind of start seeing the soul leave from the character's body. At first when he arrived at this game, he was very like friendly, positive, helpful and hopeful person. But now he's just like dead. Kind of seeing everyone that he cared about die and the person that he was friends with kill the person he cared about. It's horrible. So let the game begin. I won't explain the rules because it instantly goes into this chaotic... How is that like would work? It's not a flashbang, it's just a dirt. But they instantly go into a fighting mode. He has multiple opportunities just to win the game and stop torturing one another, but no, they keep fighting. But he finally goes for a win, but then he stops and is like, can we just like forfeit this? If like majority decides to leave, we can leave. And the guy's like, fuck you, bitch. Like, just take the fucking money, and just kills himself. So congratulations, we have a winner. But the show is not over yet. Player 456 go back to his life and sees that his mother died, and instead of like calling the ambulance, he just lays with her. After the game, he loses all hope. He doesn't even spend money. And I understand that, like, seeing how fragile human life is and all the person he cared about and made friends, everyone died. And like how rich people just watched them die for entertainment. They weren't punished for that. There were no consequences. We cut to 1 year later. I don't know how did he survive without spending any money for a year. Even like the bank contacted him saying like, hey, could you like please do something with the money? There is a reason why I really don't like this. He promised the girl and his friend to help out their family, you know, help his mom with the shop, because she should have lost it because he put it as collateral damage.
I used my own mother's house as financial collateral. And her shop.
Even though we see her shop fine. So he gets contacted by the game to come to this location where he sees his Gambu, the old man. How did he survive, you may ask? Well, he was the VIP, the host. He was the main person to do this thing. And when I first watched it, when it came out, I really hated this moment. I truly cared about this person. There was such a connection with him. And I was so sad when he died. And he was the evil mastermind behind all of this. And plus, there wasn't any hints of like him being the bad guy. The only things were him when he shouted out to stop the game. They stopped the game. And then we saw his old hand when he was putting the VIP's costume. But besides that, there was like opposite. There was evidence that he was part of the game. He always acted clueless and scared. He even pissed his pants. And watching it again, I truly thought that I won't feel any connection to him, and the show would mean less to me. But I was wrong. I truly cared about the character because I saw that it was genuine. Like, he felt those emotions. Yes, he was the evil mastermind. All the participants signed the documents and they did it to get money, and the money is what they got, and he joined the game just to like feel happiness before he's gonna die. And there was stakes, like he would have died in like a game like Tug of War, but lucky for him, it was a game where nobody could see his death. After explaining all of the reasons why he did that, he just dies. And then the character dyes his hair, which at first I didn't understand. Why would he dye his hair red? That means no sense. But I basically am cosplaying him, so I can't say shit. I understand why he did it. Maybe you have to dye your hair as well to understand it, but it makes sense in the story. And he finally goes to help out the people he should have helped, going to the airport to see his daughter because his mom and with his stepdad took him to America to live. He sees again playing the game of Dachi, and he like angrily steals the card away and forbids him to play the game. And instead of boarding the flight, he decides to call him up and join the game again. Bruh, you're just stupid at this point. But I guess better for us because there's gonna be a season 2. So I think the biggest reason why the show was so successful is because it was a simple visual, and the guards had red jumpsuits, the simple symbols, the characters that use numbers to remember all of them, the music. Holy shit, the music. The composer needs more love for this. And it perfectly combined Korean's ability to make a great, unique story with Netflix knowledge of targeting the perfect people, but the obvious answer is the games. The games were simple and understandable, that didn't need a crazy rule explanation, and people can like play it on their own. Except the Squid Game, that shit didn't make sense. It would be so hard to rate this show because it had like really good moments and not so well. It had goofy characters, but it had also well-developed masterpiece of a characters that I fell in love with. The scene design was perfect for the show. It had this like childish feeling that was like tainted with blood. I truly think the ending was disappointment, especially thinking back to like episode 6, the marble game. The ending could have been more conclusive and more meaningful, but still, the show was fascinating. I loved it so much. Bye.